My name is Serena, and I am 41 years old. For 14 years, I believed I was living the kind of marriage people envy. My husband Ryan was handsome, attentive, and charming. At least, that's who I thought he was. Looking back now, I realize I was living inside a carefully built illusion. I first met Ryan when I was 27. He had that magnetic presence that pulled me in instantly, confident eyes, a warm smile, and a way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. Within months, he proposed. I remember his hand trembling as he held mine, the gleam of a gold ring he slipped on my finger, and his words, "Forever, Serena. You and me, forever." I was swept away. I didn't question how fast it was happening. I didn't doubt his promises. We married quickly and began our life together in a small apartment. Ryan traveled often for his sales job, but he always came back with stories, kisses, and that same dazzling smile. We made plans like any couple. Children, a bigger house, holidays we would take one day. I trusted him with all my heart. To me, Ryan was perfect. To me, Ryan was my forever. But forever was a lie. It began on an ordinary afternoon in our kitchen. I was clearing a pile of papers when I found a plain white envelope. Something about it caught my attention. The name on the front was unfamiliar, Mrs. Lisa Parker. My breath caught. It wasn't addressed to Ryan or to me. Who was Lisa Parker, and why had her letter come to my home? I waited until Ryan returned that evening. When he walked through the door, smiling as he always did, I showed him the envelope. "Who is Lisa Parker?" I asked. He barely glanced at it. His expression didn't flicker. "Just a mix-up," he said easily. "The bank must have sent it to the wrong address. Don't worry about it." He brushed it off as if it were nothing, but my heart told me it was something. That night, when Ryan was asleep, I sat with my phone in the dim light. I typed Lisa Parker into the search bar, my hands shaking. And then I saw her. Lisa Parker, standing in a white wedding dress. Next to her, smiling proudly in a suit, was Ryan. My husband. The date on the photograph made me dizzy. 16 years ago. He had married her 2 years before he married me. The walls of my world collapsed. My marriage wasn't real. My vows were a shadow. I was not a wife. I was a secret. Still, I needed confirmation. The next day, I went to the city office. My voice was small as I asked for the marriage record of Serena Watson and Ryan Parker. The woman at the counter searched the files, then looked at me with quiet sympathy. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "There's no record of that marriage." Her words pierced my heart. 14 years I had called myself his wife. 14 years I believed in a bond that never legally existed. I had been living in a lie, and he had let me. I couldn't carry the secret alone anymore. I searched for Lisa's address and went to her house. When she opened the door, I introduced myself. "I'm Serena," I said softly. "I think we're both married to the same man." Lisa didn't look shocked. Instead, her eyes filled with sorrow. She invited me in, and over the next hour, she revealed everything. Ryan had confessed about me long ago. But he promised her he would end it, that he would divorce me, that she was the only one he truly loved. She had waited for years, believing his lies. Suddenly, all his late nights, his sudden trips, his excuses, they all made sense. He wasn't working late. He wasn't away for business. He was with me, living a second life. 2 wives. 2 homes. 2 sets of promises. and a man who had betrayed us both. I decided his lies could no longer stay hidden. That evening, I wrote an email to his boss. I told the truth. Ryan Parker had been living a double life for years, deceiving two women. I also called his mother and told her everything. I could hear her disbelief turn into sobs as she tried to process the truth about her son. The consequences came quickly. Ryan was fired from his job. His mother was heartbroken. His carefully woven world began to crumble. Days later, he came to my door, his face pale, his eyes hollow. He begged me to take him back, swearing that I was his only love, that Lisa meant nothing, that we could start over. But his words no longer held any power over me. Go to your real wife, I told him coldly. I am not your wife. Then I closed the door, and with it, I closed the chapter of my life that had been built on his lies. The days afterward were not easy. I carried my sadness to work, tears threatening to spill even at my desk. Most colleagues looked away, unsure how to comfort me. But one man didn't. Miller. Miller was quiet, steady, and kind. He didn't tell me how to feel or what to do. He simply listened. When I spoke about the betrayal, the years I had lost, the rage that kept me awake at night, he listened without judgment. And in his silence, I found something I hadn't felt in years: safety. Ryan had been charming, but his charm was empty. Miller wasn't dazzling, but he was honest. Every word he spoke was true. And slowly, I realized that honesty was worth more than charm ever could be. I no longer think of Ryan. I don't miss him. I don't ache for him. Lisa is free, and so am I. The lies no longer bind us. For the first time in years, I feel free. Free to dream, free to live, free to hope. And perhaps one day, free to love again, not with illusions, not with false promises, but with someone who values truth. My name is Serena. My story is one of betrayal and heartbreak, but also one of strength and renewal. I lost 14 years to a lie, but I gained myself back. And that, at last, is real. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.